Yuri, for doing this. It really means a lot to me and my audience. And of course, you've been part of a Yuri squad now. So I can proudly say that I'm so happy that you're here and sharing your journey. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Yuri. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, me too. And before we go do anything, let's do a quick intro. Like, where are you right now? Where are you from in India? And all the fun stuff about
Okay.
you.
Yeah, so I from India. I am from Nasik. It's in Maharashtra, but most of my life I have been in Pune and Mumbai. So I relate myself more to Mumbai. So you can call
Nice.
me like a Mumbaiker. Yeah, so that's where I'm from. I finished my engineering from Pune, and that was in computers. Then I moved to Mumbai. I worked with National Stock Exchange for 8 years. I was a Java developer. And then I got married. I moved to the United States. Currently, I'm in Erie, Pennsylvania. I here work with an insurance company. So I'm a business systems analyst. I did my master's from Harrisburg University, and now it's been close to 5 years that I've been working with this company.
And how long has it been since you've been living in United States?
Exactly 5 years, 5.5, I might say, because 6 months into this country, I started my journey.
Oh, okay. So okay, got it. And 8 years as a Java developer,
Yes.
that's a lot.
That's a lot. That proves how much I disliked it, but I still kept doing it.
That's funny. And I'm also Mumbaikar. Of course, I'm hoping that you know that already.
Yes, I do.
And we have our common friend Tanuj. Tanuj, if you're watching this, hello.
Yeah, hi, Tanuj.
I'm sure you're watching this. So anyway, and even before we get into our educational and professional journey, I just wanna do a shout out to your music journey, because that is how we connected, and that's how we met each other, or like talk to each other. So for people who don't know, she does a lot of music content, and I've used her music in a lot of my drone shots and videos before. So Deepti, how did music journey started?
Oh my God. It started when I was 6. I was very little when it
wow.
started. One of my professors in college, in school, he was our PT teacher, physical training. And he said, he saw me, he heard me hum some music. And he was like, my mom was a teacher in the same school I used to go. And he went to my mom and said, Deepa teacher, you should put her to a music class because she has a good voice. And that's when my mom realized it, and then she put me into music. So I have learned all the 7, I'm a Sangeet Visharad basically. So I've done
Wow.
all the exams. My music journey has been on and off. It has been, it started off, then I used to sing in lots of programs like Purushottam Karanda, films, sometimes in like TV shows, etc., etc. Not very big production value, but very little. College, every time I have been in touch, but now after I came to the US, I was like, this cannot stop, because it's like every time I start it and I stop it, I start it and I stop it. When I was in
Yeah.
Mumbai, I started going into music studios and did a couple of films, did a couple of Marathi regional music, and then I just for some reason stopped it. So when I came here, I'm like, now there's no stopping. I have to be consistent, because if you're not consistent in the music scene, any scene,
Yeah.
it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've started my Instagram for a year now. It's going good, and thanks to you guys who are supporting. Thanks, I found
Yeah.
Tanuj, and yeah, we are kind of producing good music there.
Yeah, absolutely. For people, I will put your obviously social media in the description so they can go and check it out. I highly recommend. She's an awesome singer and music artist. So definitely. And maybe in
thanks.
future, you and my wife can do like a duo together. I don't know if you've seen, but my wife sings too, and she sings Hindi songs without
Yeah.
even knowing Hindi language.
I saw you guys' vlog when you got married. She sang for you. That was very cute. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. How was studying after 8 years of working?
Wow, that was crazy, because one thing that I learned was it was completely different. In India, it was only about books and about exams. Here, it was all about case studies. So, given a case study, write a case study. What do you think? And we were put into a project. We were given projects, etc. for business analytics, even for project management courses. And we had to pair up with different people. That was very difficult, finding people from different backgrounds. And I remember I was having two Pakistani teammates and one from Japan, completely different. Pakistani, you can still relate, right? You can talk.
Yeah.
But that fellow from Japan was he used to work. He was intelligent, but he used to work completely differently. So that was like a cultural shock I got. You have to slow down. You have to work with different kinds of people to deal differently with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, studies, it's completely different. I just love the way the studies are structured in the United States. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I really like
I
it.
do,
Yeah.
100%. And it's so much more hands-on than theoretical knowledge, which we get it in India. So, interest. So you did come on H4,
Yes.
H4 visa.
Yes.
And then did you convert yourself into F1 or stayed on H4?
No, I converted myself in F1 because there were a lot of benefits for aids and for programs that they were offering only for F1 students. So that's
Okay.
why I always wanted to be a student, and yeah, I wanted my visa to go in hand in hand with what I was doing. I didn't want to be dependent and studying. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. So I had two options, whether to get it converted being here or to go back to India and stamp and come back. That time,
Right.
I know I had a friend who had applied for her conversion. It took her like 8 to 16 months.
Wow.
And that too was rejected or had an RFE. So that's when we decided if we want to do this, we'll do it the right way. So it's better to go to India and get it stamped.
Okay, so there's two options. So if somebody, let's say my friend's wife came here on H4 and they decided to study,
Yeah.
they can stay here and convert their visa.
Right. And they can even study on H4. They can continue studying on H4. But they don't get the benefits of CPT, OPT and
Correct. Yeah,
and even
absolutely.
scholarships and everything.
Yeah, but what you did is like you went to India, you went to India, you applied like just normal F1
Yes.
visa procedure and then got your F1
Yeah.
visa interview.
Yeah.
So if you do convert from H4 to F1, do you not have to do interview or any of that? Or
No,
is
the
it-
process is the same. I had to take my I-20 with me because the university has to send you your I-20, right? Without the I-20 application, you cannot file for an F1 visa. So I went
No,
to
for conversion.
No,
Like, if you
conversion.
are-
Yes, the process is the same. I will have to go
Same.
through, yes. So
Okay.
I had to go through, I had to book my interview, I had to book my slot, stamping, fingerprinting, sab kuch.
How was your interview? Because this, I don't know how many of my audience is gonna fall under this category, but I'm curious because you were on H4, your husband is on H1, then you're moving to F1. So what questions did they ask you in your visa interview?
I had two questions, and my interview is pretty simple. I'm fortunate that way with interviews. First question was, what are the previous visas that you hold with the United States? So
Yeah.
I said H4. He asked me, how long were you on H4? I was on H4 for 6 months, which I said. Then she asked me, why do you want to study? So I said, just because it's a land of opportunities. I hate sitting idle. I want to enhance further into my education. And then she did not ask me why this university, because I had prepared that answer definitely. She did not ask
Yeah.
me that. She just said all the best. She took probably 5 minutes on her computer to type something. I was getting nervous. And but I was like, okay, I'm going to let her do whatever she wants to do. Yes, and the last thing she asked me was my husband's birth date. And I kind of blanked out. I was like, what?
I hope you remembered.
I remembered. And I was like, May 10th. And I was going to say the year wrong. But I said the year right, finally.
Nice, awesome. That's awesome. What's the one tip would you give to all the wives or husband who are coming on dependent visa? Because I'm assuming that must be a shock for you since you're like living your entire life in India and then moving here.
Now, when I look back 5 years from now, just to share with you, I was so shy that I couldn't order myself a cup of coffee in Starbucks. I was like,
Wow.
you know, it's a cultural shock, Yuri. It's like, what is this country, you know? Cars and this and that. And my husband took me to Miami for our honeymoon, and I was like looking at those big, and I was like completely lost. And I was telling him, can we slow down and just be in one? But yes, I was so nervous. Now, if I look back at 5 years from now, without even knowing to order a coffee at Starbucks, now you see I'm like driving here, doing everything. So definitely do that. This country is very welcoming, and there are very good people here who help you out throughout. So I've
Yeah.
been fortunate to meet very good people throughout my journey.
Nice. That's awesome. Awesome. Moving on to business analyst, business system analyst. How did job search start?
My job search was LinkedIn. Started off putting my profile on LinkedIn.
When did you start your job search?
I started it as soon as I got my admissions, because they were
Okay.
offering me, good options for studying part time. And, I didn't
Yeah.
know those options that well, but I was like, let me start searching for a job. Because as soon as I got my admissions, I knew that this study is not as intensive as it's in India. It can be definitely
Yeah.
handled, both hand
Right.
in hand.
Right.
So I started right up front. November I started, December I started my job search. I put out my resume in LinkedIn, gave it out to a lot of consultants. Definitely, everybody used to ask me one question: do you have any experience in the United States? So my answer is to be no. I am looking for somebody to give me that experience. After 2 or 3 months of struggle and giving a couple of interviews, my husband in my husband's company where I work currently, a position opened up. So that was a business analyst position. So I interviewed for that, and I was very fortunate enough to get that. I had like 3 rounds of interviews. At one point, it came to be like to a position where they liked me very much, but even they were not sure without any experience can we hire you.
Okay. And the position is business system
Business
analyst.
systems analyst, yes.
Okay.
It's the same position I am in right now. And that's when definitely there were inhibitions from their side, but somewhere we had an edge because my husband knew those people, and he was already
Right.
working. So they knew that these people are not cheaters, definitely. So I think that was the edge that I'm thankful that I got the job, at least to start with, in this organization.
And you are with them since then.
Yes,
You haven't changed your.
I haven't
yeah.
changed. I have moved up the ladder definitely, and now
Right.
going towards project management. I just finished giving my PMP, so that's the next step. And at this point,
Did you clear it? Did
yes,
you clear
yes, I did.
Oh, that's awesome! Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I was going to, but then I switched my path to Scrum Master, Agile certification. So I went on that route instead of Waterfall PMP route.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So I
that's
did
awesome.
that.
So, yeah, would you say that referrals and networking is the key to get a job
Yes.
in United States?
Yes, for me, yes, definitely. If you are because Harrisburg, there was one drawback I did not mention about that university, which your viewers should know. Its placements are not great. So the professors try to place you as ask your resume, but it's very rare that they can try to place you. So
Are
you
there
have
career fairs? Are there career fairs?
very limited, and for computer science very limited. So it's very difficult to get placed from Harrisburg.
What industry sector is it in Pennsylvania?
Insurance mostly, and manufacturing
Healthcare.
a lot.
So
Healthcare, yeah.
and manufacturing. Got it.
Manufacturing and insurance is all kinds of insurance: home, personal, auto.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So insurance and manufacturing. It's as I said, it's the freedom state. So there are still a lot of basic industries: civil, retail, manufacturing, all those. IT, you have to little move up to Boston and New Jersey, New York for.
Right. Is there a lot of good Indian population in Pennsylvania?
There is in big cities. I know Pittsburgh does have good Indian population, but where
Yeah.
I come from, it's very limited.
Yeah, yeah, okay, got it. And now switching just one quick question on. So did you have job as a CPT and then you moved it to OPT, and is that how you travel? Because you said you had a job while you were studying.
Right. I did consume some of my CPT, but then I did not require my OPT because I filed for my H1. My employer filed for my H1
While you were studying.
while I was studying in CPT.
That's so awesome.
I know.
Before even graduating, I have my
I
H1.
have my H1. I know. And I did not need that 20,000 ka lottery. You remember we have those 20,000?
Yeah.
Mine was not because I didn't have a degree then. So mine was
right.
picked up
So
in the
you are in that
65,000. Yeah.
65, yeah.
I'm like the big bucket, so that's what I'm like very fortunate
You're
to.
fortunate, yeah.
Yes, yes.
That's so awesome. I'm so happy that everything worked out for you. What's the fees for Harrisburg?
So just the course fees comes up to 32K,
So
32,000.
that's not bad at all.
That's not bad. Considering all the other living costs, cost of living, somewhere around, depend on how lavishly you want to live, accommodation and everything. Somewhere 45 to 50 can be easily accommodated.
45 to 50 what?
50K, 1,000.
For 1 year?
For 2 years. So including the 32.
Oh, okay,
including the 30.
got it.
So package.
Yeah. I was like 50,000 for living expenses.
No.
That's a lot.
Plus 32.
Plus 32. So 18,000 roughly.
18,000.
Okay.
So 15 to 18,000 depends on how.
Yeah, right. Got it. What's your day look like? What do you do as a business systems analyst?
We have to work with different clients, different projects. So basically, analytics is more important. Gathering requirements from the business users and translating it into technical requirements for our IT group for them to develop that product. So our products range from, I work with the HR domain, so all my products are very employee oriented, like Success Factors. You must have heard of Success Factors, right?
Yeah.
It's like an HR application. So that plus anything that's the business supporting application. If somebody wants to buy like a cloud solution, definitely finding out which is the better cloud solution out there, finding out the pros and cons, getting the requirements elicited from the business, and then implementing it. My other part of my profile is also being a QA, which is a quality analyst. So I'm a business quality systems analyst. So after the development is done, definitely tracking test cases, writing them down,
Nice.
using quality center and all that good stuff.
Got it. So just for users, sorry, not users, just for audience to users, it's like my
Yeah.
IT project manager
IT
coming out. For audience who are watching, there are a lot of different types of business analysts. What she's talking about it, I'm assuming you are more functional business analyst and not technical. I guess yours is a little combination because you do gather requirement and then converted that into tech spec and then give it to developers to
Right.
actually make it possible, and then
Right.
once they're done, then you do like the testing that whether they did what I said they should be doing.
Right. So that's
And
pretty
there
much it.
right, and there are other types of business analysts as well who actually just work for a client and they understand how software works and they actually tell client how to use their company's product.
Right. They are very domain specific. I'm not a domain specific analyst. I'm like mostly towards functional side.
Yeah, got it. What are some of the skills required to become a business analyst?
Good communication skills, I would say, because you have to get to talk to lots of business representatives and gather the requirements, which is number one. Number two is a little of an analyst brain you should have, trying to really sometimes, you know, when people start talking, you just miss a couple of details which can be very lethal for a business analyst. You cannot miss a requirement, otherwise you're not a good business analyst. So yes, being very receptive about what the person is saying, noting them down, definitely. So communication comes first, second is analytics and being receptive, good collector, and third one I think is elicitation of, sometimes people understand but they are not able to translate it. So you should be able to translate your thoughts into an Excel spreadsheet or into a tool, right?
Yeah.
So being a good translator, understanding, and somewhere I've read that if you don't if you cannot explain it well enough, you have not understood it well enough. So
Right.
first thing is you should understand stuff basically.
Yeah, and especially for development team, if the team is aligned that way, where developers are getting the requirement from business analyst and product manager, and if they can't explain what is the actual problem they are trying to solve, then developers are not going to be solving the right problem.
Right.
So yeah, so
Right.
I 100% agree. What are some of the tools do you guys use, or technologies do you guys use?
For agile projects, we use Agile Manager. You must be aware of Agile Manager.
And
For
no, I'm not. We use Jira, we use Atlassian products.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have heard of them. I've not
Yeah.
used them, but I have heard of them. We use Agile Manager for our requirements, traceability of story cards, completion, etc.
Nice.
For some waterfall projects, we use Quality Center. And mostly for my process mapping, the swim lanes, etc., I use a lot of Visio for my process modeling. And these are the major three. Excel and Word is like my bread and butter. So
Of course, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, nothing apart from this. If you are dealing with a vendor, specific application, then the vendor comes up with terms and conditions that this is the product you'll have to use.
Yeah.
Like one
Yeah.
vendor I was working with said, we track our story cards in Trello. I don't know if you have heard of that
Yes,
Trello
I do.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to learn Trello, but it's like, simple. So
Right.
like that.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, awesome. And so, what are some of the mistakes which you would recommend people to avoid?
So for your audience, definitely I know they will relate. Most people are from India or from outside of United States, want to join in. So the biggest mistake that people make is undermine themselves. Just because of the fact that I am not the same person as the other person is. I have seen people making these mistakes. People, when speaking to their offshore people, are different, and when you speak to a client, you become conscious about what you're saying. Am I saying the right thing? Am I using the right vocabulary? I know vocabulary is important, but getting your point out and trusting yourself, not trusting yourself is the biggest mistake you will make in a job. So you should always, be confident and trust yourself that it's okay. It's just another person. It's just another person with another cultural background. You just have to deal with it,
Yeah, I love that point. Absolutely, because yes, and this is the question I get is like, we are very nervous, so we are scared, like, we don't know how to talk. So that's an excellent advice.
Yeah.
What are some of what is like salary range for business system analysts? Like, you don't have to obviously give your salary, but like, what's the salary range people usually get for that?
If you're starting afresh, somewhere between 60 to 75, depending on the expertise, the area and the expertise. Starting afresh as a graduate trainee.
Yeah.
If you have an experience, you can definitely ask somewhere around 80K to 100.
100.
So that's and that is the basic range I'm saying. If you move up the ladder, definitely if you are tied down to technology, mostly as you said, like technology or like an application, definitely you can go higher than that.
Yeah, 100%. And then again, it depends on if you're in New York, Boston,
Yeah.
San Francisco. Those add up, and you will probably make
Yeah.
way much more than
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you'll be homeless if you get 60K in New York.
And
You'll be on
San
the
Francisco
streets.
too.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, and last question: what is this? Do you feel there's enough scope in United States for business analysts? Do you feel people should come for business analysts?
If you really love being one, come. If you think that you can do development better, I would say if you weigh between being a developer and a business analyst, obviously development will have more opportunities. As I'm seeing, I'm being very honest here.
Yeah.
But if you really love your skill and if you want to grow, come over as a business analyst and see what you have. There is still a lot of applications, a lot of sectors that need it. Insurance being the number one sector
Yes.
that needs business analysts the most. Healthcare,
Absolutely.
I'm not very sure, but insurance industry is huge. They need a lot of business analysts, but you should be really willing to do what you want to do.
I think every industry, even healthcare, like we work for healthcare companies, so even there's a lot of demand for business. In fact, we are hiring for business analysts right now, and there's a lot of demand for business analysts because they help in a lot of areas which people don't think right now, like how they can help. So yeah, 100% I agree. I think my audience lies into this category where they chose computer science or IT because their parents forced it, or everybody was doing it, so I'm doing it. And now they graduated and hate coding, and they want to do something less coding and more management. That's maximum of my
Of
audience.
your
line.
audience, okay. then definitely get your Babcock. Come on that first flight to the United States, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Of course, there are many other. There's like business analysts, there's a product owner, there's a project manager, scrum master. There are other roles as well. But if you're interested, like
Yeah.
you said, love business analysts, for sure. Understand what is business analyst, and hopefully this video will help you.
Yes, definitely. And you can
Yeah.
reach out to me anytime you need any more information. I'm here to help always.
Yes, absolutely. Any last words of wisdom, final tips before we end this video?
No, I guess. I mean, just keep dreaming, everybody. And I love what you do too, Yudi. I love the do what you love sign that's behind.
Yes.
And keep rocking and just keep doing what you do. There's so many people who like your content. So I'm glad that you've built a community where you are helping out people.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. And again, I'm gonna put her social media as well. So reach out to her for education stuff. But most likely you will start following her for music content. I know that, which I won't be offended, but that's okay. I want you guys to listen
Thank
to
you.
her music. It's awesome.
Thanks,
so,
Yudi.
so until our next one.
Keep smiling and keep hustling.